new users get a bonus of 50 cents. The best Dota 2 chest opening website that features a reputable Probably Fair system has launched a new event. Dota Boom gives all new users a bonus of 50 cents for opening treasures. You don't need to make a deposit, just log in. Okay, what am I supposed to do with it? You can open a treasure chest right away, for example, the Wisdom Rune chest. In addition to other cool items such as Sea Rake's Bridle, there is also a Juggernaut Arcana there. It's simple. Go to Dota Boom by clicking the link in the pinned comment, grab your bonus, sell cheap items. However, Arcana items or other expensive skins you send to your Steam account. But that's not all. Every day, top 20 most active and lucky players will share skins worth over $100 and $300 every week. For example, this lucky player wins an Axiev Metera from Dota Boom, and this guy gets a Golden Infernal Chieftain. Enter this promo code even if you've already used another one, and you'll get a bonus of 5% on your deposit, and another chest from us. Hurry up, it will be available until November 30th. Click the link, activate the promo code, and get your bonus right away.
Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speeder. Today we're going to be going over 5 rules for carry players to gain MMR. Reliably gain MMR. I mean, it's basically a guarantee if you follow these rules. I'm currently 15k MMR. I played at TI, so surely I can tell you some good things. At least a few good things about gaining MMR, getting better at Dota. And we're going to be starting with the carry role. I plan on doing this for each and every role. I believe maybe there's going to be a patch soon, so I thought, like, why not talk about just things that will help people get better at the game rather than more Dota-specific stuff. Obviously, I'm still going to do some Dota-specific stuff or meta-specific stuff, but either way, let's hop right into it. Okay, getting into the first tip is pick according to your lane. So if you're trying to gain MMR, right, that is your main goal. I cannot stress how important picking for your lane is. Now, okay, at the end of the day, gameplay matters way more than anything else. You cannot draft your way to victory as a 3k MMR player in an 8k MMR lobby. You will get annihilated regardless of how good your pick is. That's the truth. However, if you are a carry player, especially when you're a carry player, you will frequently have the luxury to last pick your hero. In that scenario, what do you need to do? First, you should look at your lane support, and second, you should look at the enemy offlaner. First of all, when you look at your lane support, you have to say, can I lane with this hero? Does my hero have synergy? If you have no clue, well, that's something you just have to start learning. It's actually something I think I might make a video series on, just laning partners, general laning synergies, because you can often look at the archetype of a character, like melee frontliner, and then have a list, so on and so forth. Warlock, have a list. You know what I mean? That is the first thing you need to do. Because I just played a pub, I picked Nagasire, and my carry picked Slark. Now, it's playable. Like, you can do okay sometimes, but we didn't. We got run over, he got very tilted, and it made the game hard. We almost won, but it made the game very hard because we did very poorly in our lane, even though he had last pick. He saw his lane, and he saw I was Naga. The second thing in that example is he was against Bristleback and he picked Slark. Now, I don't mind that. I think Slark is a reasonably decent hero against Bristle. I don't think it's the best because I think Slark is a pretty shit hero. However, it's, you know, it makes sense. Now, he also saw Bristleback, and in that case, if I'm laning with Naga and I'm against Bristleback, I'd be thinking about Medusa, for instance, because Medusa benefits from the wand charges of Bristleback, is unaffected by the minus armor of Bristleback, and lanes reasonably well with Naga because Naga has no range to cure and is a melee frontliner, right? Also, in the game, it's just a good combo. A lot of synergy. Or I'd be thinking about something like TA. Lanes well with Naga, pretty sustainable by herself early on because Naga is a bad laner, is a range hero, right? So it can play the first CS from far away, and is naturally good against Bristle because she can block the cool damage with Refraction at level 1 if she so chooses, or can skill meld and, you know, get CS with that. So that's kind of how I would think about it. If you don't think like that, or you just don't think, or you don't really care, you just kind of pick your best hero. I would say if you're trying to gain MMR, you need at least a 3 to 4 hero pool, and it has to be, you know, you want a little bit of diversity in those heroes that you can pick based on your matchups and based on your support. Next up, keep the map open and hold your lane as long as you can. So I want to mainly focus on the second half of this. And this is a tough thing to discuss, which is the concept of holding your lane as long as you can. So when you're playing safe lane, let's assume you're having a decent lane, okay? Or even a good lane. What ends up happening, especially to offlaners, but also to safe laners, and it's particularly bad when you're a safe laner, is people leave their lane. They will gank mid, they'll run to a fight, they'll TP to the off lane, they'll just like leave. Don't leave. Okay, in 95%. Now, the goal of this video is not to teach you about the niche situation where you should give up your lane at minute 7-10 because you're going to get kicked out, or the mid might rotate, or you should have paid attention to the haste rune that the puck got. We're not talking about that, okay? If you want to get to TI, we can talk about that. You need to get to 3k MMR. Let's be real, you've been 2k for 3 months. Okay, so you want to hold your lane as long as you can. In general, if your lane is decent, you need to try to control the area. These tier 1s matter a lot. They matter a lot for a couple of reasons. Number 1, you get control of the gates. Number 2, it's just a good place to farm. Like, frankly, if you lose your tower and you have to farm backwards, over time, especially if your mid lane loses as well, you might end up stepping on the toes of your mid laner as well. But just in general, you lose access to very valuable camps on either safe lane. The small camp, the medium camp, the ancient camp behind, the small camp behind next to that. You lose like a lot of damn camps. And when you lose those camps, things get weird. And on top of that, if you gain MMR and you don't hold your lane, let's say you could have, and you don't, and you lose your tower, good players will stack pull the large camp constantly, and you won't farm lane creeps for like 4 minutes. It gets real bad. So there's a lot of reasons, but very simply, it's the best thing to do to farm. For the first 10 to 11 minutes of the game, in general, don't rotate. Are there exceptions to this? Absolutely. If we were to get very advanced, let's say you're playing something like Gyrocopter, you won your lane, you have pressure on the enemy carry, you should probably hit the gate and apply that pressure. Maybe you could get smoked by your position 5 and contest a power rune, but these things are too niche. If you're just trying to stabilize your gameplay, you want to get MMR, just stick in your lane. And the second half of that was keeping the map open. Don't close down the map for no reason. Yes, I understand your team might get tilted at you because they're feeding their brains out and you didn't TP, but in general, try not to TP too early, okay? I'm going to talk about the exception next point, which is responding to dives in the mid game. This is point number 3, responding to dives in the mid game. Now, I'm specifying here in the mid game because in general, as a carry player, you don't want to be moving around the map early on. Just talked about why, okay? You want to hold your tower, you want to farm those areas. It's the best place to get farm. It's really, really efficient. It's going to control the gates, it's going to control Tormentor, it's going to let your team TP around the map and find kills. It does a lot. So why do I say respond to dives in the mid game? In the mid game, let's say we're talking about minute 15 plus. Okay, at that point in the game, you really want to start to help out with fights, because at that point, a lot of the time, you're going to have the levels to do so. If you've been farming your safe lane for a while now, like I've suggested, you're probably one of the highest levels in the game. You do a lot of damage now. You hopefully have the resources. Mainly, you're going to have the items and, more importantly, the levels to join in and help. And heroes are going to be worth enough gold where it might be worth sacrificing a bit of farm to help out. Now, specifically, respond to dives, okay? As a carry, in general, you want to keep the map open. You want to be farming away from your team for the first 15 minutes, on average. Then, and it depends on your hero, then you can start to connect. However, even then, even at minute 15, a lot of the time, the best play as a carry, especially for playing greedier heroes, is to continue to farm. There's so much farm on the map. This has been known for a while now. There are a billion camps. If one team AFK farms and loses a kill here and there, but the enemy team is chasing around like crazy and not farming, they're gonna lose. You will probably lose, even if you're ahead 10, 15 kills. I'm sure you've seen pro games where they're, like, for instance, Team Falcons will be down a bunch of kills. They're even on net worth, they're up 1k, down less than 1k, you know? Because especially when you're losing, you can just keep the map open. And if you don't panic, there's a lot of farm on the map. You'll be able to find a comeback moment. And that comeback moment is gonna come from dives. Guys, in pubs, people dive towers way too freaking much. If I was to show you the difference between a pro game and the way dives happen in a pro game and the frequency compared to your average pub, let's say average legend to ancient pub, you would be like, holy, people are so bad at diving towers. They do it at terrible times. You need to punish it. And as a carry in the mid game, you need to look for that. Please look for it. Okay, number 4 is communicate and look for smokes on your big timings, right? This applies to every role, something I've been even working on, but communicate and smoke on your big timings. When you are close to your BKB, you're playing Sven. Actually, you're probably not playing Sven. It's not super in the meta. You're playing Ursa. You're 200 gold from Blink Dagger. Please say something, please. And then if you're at a decent enough MMR, even if you're not, call for a smoke. Say, guys, my blink is on courier. My blink is 200 gold away. Please have a smoke. And I'm going to TP mid. You're going to smoke me. Or please come to me. I have blink. Or I'm going to come to you soon. I have blink, right? And especially with things like BKB. Guys, I'm 100 gold from BKB. I'm 200 gold from BKB. I'm 500 gold from, I'm 1,000 gold from BKB. Slow down the game, right? You need to talk about, are you close to a timing? Your timings are the most important in the game, on average. They are the most important. Your BKB, your Scotty, your Butterfly, your Satanic, your Rapier, your Tilting Out, your Midas. It's probably actually not that important, let's be real. But yeah, you want to communicate when you're close to these timings. It does two things. Hopefully, it lets your team make a play when you hit that timing. That's huge. And also, it will hopefully allow your teammates to not get tilted if you don't join a fight. If a fight happens and you've told them, I'm farming this item, they still might get mad at you, but they're way less likely because you've communicated. I've noticed this in my pubs a million times. If I'm talking, I'm calming, I'm trying, people will be way more friendly because they're like, this guy's trying. He wants to win, right? And you have to do it in a friendly way. Don't be psychotic. If you're calming 24/7 that people suck, probably not so good. That's not what I mean. Okay, number 5 is stop blaming your supports for everything. I mean, it's true, okay? Couple of examples that I wanted to cover when I wrote this down. Number 1 is wards. I genuinely believe that as Dota progresses, cores are gonna be expected to place wards. I really believe in 3 years, 5 years, as long as Dota continues to progress, the meta, the average player gets better, as usually happens, is what usually happens. Cores are going to be expected to buy. They're free. Why is the slowest hero on the map? Why is the slowest hero on the map placing all of the wards? It's more predictable. You might be saying, because supports show the least. Not necessarily. If you go higher and higher, sometimes supports show the most on creep waves because the cores are hitting neutral camps, off vision. So that's not even the case as you get better and better a lot of the time. If you watch Snake King's gameplay, bro's farming midway for 15 minutes. It's a bit much. But you get what I mean, right? So that's one thing. If your vision is bad, you can't see things. You think you're dying to ganks because you can't see things. You're farming the corners of the map. If you need a ward in the corner of the map, put a ward. That's the first thing. And in the laning stage, this is a big one. People are like, I can't lane because of my support. And yeah, your supports often will suck. Like, yeah, you often suck too. It's true. Like, people are going to play bad. However, if you want to get to the next rank, when bad things happen, you have to start with saying, like, could I have done something better? Let's say you die. If I ask, no offense, if I ask a Herald player why they die in the laning stage, they're going to come up with a reason that is going to lack some truth most of the time. I've talked to Herald players, not all, right? I know this is like a little bit offensive, but the reality is they'll come up with a reason that misses a lot of points. If you then talk to someone who is much higher MMR, let's say 10, 12k, they'll say, the lane was pushed. I overstepped here. I missed this spell. Maybe I could have ate my tango earlier. I forgot to click my stick. I was trading bad. And then you go even higher. It's like, I messed up equilibrium by not pulling aggro here. And I auto-attacked 2 more times, 3 more times here than I should have. And I pushed the wave. And I could have pulled the small, even as a core, when my support went to roam, and I didn't. And it's like, there's a lot of potential reasons of how you could have fixed the problem, or you could have stopped the problem from happening if you're actually good enough. Dota's hard, man. It's hard. And so if you're a core, you have a lot more onus on the game. It's almost intimidating how much you can actually do. Still to this day, guys, not deflexing it, but I played at TI. Still in my pubs, when I like look back at my games, I'm like, oh my God, I am so far off where I'm trying to get, like, in terms of gameplay. The amount of stuff that I missed, the ideas I'll come up with like after the game, I'm like, I could have done that, that would have made that better. But Dota's hard because just so much stuff is changing game to game, you know? But all right, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.